Hi, Royal Ones. This is Miss Gigi coming at you again with another juicy episode. Let's get straight into it. Listen, let's talk about the warrior princess. Okay, we talk about the loving, the sweet, kind part about the princess. But let me tell you something. When you offend this woman of God, when you defend this princess, you'll see a side of this woman you ain't never want to see before. And you will second guess yourself and ask yourself, why did I even think about offending her? Why did I even put myself at opposite ends to be her contender or her challenger? Let me tell you something. When you offend a princess, you will second guess your own reason for living. She will have you second guess, why am I even allowed to even go through this experience? Let's get straight into it. Words to describe a warrior princess. She's energetic. She has the energy for this fight. She's mighty. She's strong. She got God on her side. She's potent. She knows just how much force to attack you with. She's very strong because she's built up her muscle. She's vigorous, commanding. You're going to listen to me and you're going to learn today. Very dominant. You're not going to take this from me. This I earned. This is mine. No, this you cannot take from me. Influential, sovereign, strategic. She knows how to use her words as her sword to cut others down. She is a woman of wisdom. A warrior princess is self-assured. Well, she's confident in her skills and abilities that she possesses. And without a doubt, she knows herself. There ain't nothing you can say otherwise, because I know who I am. She does not give in to fear. She's a woman of great faith. She stays calm in stressful situations. She knows the princess warrior. She knows what she wants to achieve. She has the mindset of, I will not quit. I will do whatever it takes to come out on top. Never accept defeat. She is a woman of courage. She will help, support, shield, and fight for her husband and her children's good. This is the worst mistake you can make, is coming up against a warrior princess and her family. She's a fierce defender. She has the ability to make confident, strategic, and powerful decisions while facing challenges of life, while engaging her fears. She finds a way through them without being crippled by them. Inside every royal one is a warrior. Inside every princess is a warrior. This comes out when you feel threatened. You become a strong woman. You become brave. You will stand up and fight. You will possess many abilities to throw, jump, stab, bite, beat, shake, shoot, and kick somebody's ass. Regarding defending your family, regarding defending your children, suddenly you are highly proficient. Without training and without warning. You just know how to step in and defend your child and defend your husband. When someone beating on them, when something happens to them, all of a sudden you skilled. You know how to. And without warning, she knows. She will fight a person, a man, woman, or beast that is a danger to her family, especially her child or her husband. I'm saying That's why they say even the scariest person, don't mess with them. That scary, quiet person, don't fool with that person. Don't fool with them. Because like suddenly and without warning and without training, they will beat you down. You will die today. Some men, when they meet you, they wine and dine you. And they spend a lot of quality time with you, and they make you fall in love with them and take you out on dates and get to know you. They get to know your family, they get to know your kids, and eventually, 6 months later you move in together, and then a year later you get married. Then 5 or 6 years later, we have two regrets in life: the day I met you and the day I married you. They say you don't know a person till you live with them. This is fact. And then you really get to see this person. You get to see how they really are after they become comfortable with you. After you get to see their pet peeves and everything like that. Little quirks and habits and stuff that makes them annoying, cute but annoying. Then some of these men, they begin to mistreat you, talk to you in a disrespectful manner. And they bring out the worst side of you. They bring out this warrior side of you. The part that you've been holding on. You keep it inside of you because you want to be this new person because you got married, and you let this mind be in Christ Jesus. So you act like a professional, you're friendly, you're approachable, you act with decency and common sense, and you speak intelligently because you are an educated, intelligent businesswoman. And then that day happens. Suddenly and without warning, they cross the line and they go too far. Especially when you involve her kid, you become a full-blown monster. Literally a freaking nightmare. And then these men want to walk around telling everybody, oh, this chick, she batshit crazy. Ever since I noticed my son's behavior changed and he became rebellious towards me because my ex was giving him things that I wasn't, showing him, spending quality time with him, because that's what a man is supposed to do. Spend quality time with a little boy. Because I can't teach a man how to be a man. I'm a woman. He would buy him little kiss-ass gifts that I wasn't doing. Saying things, doing things to create tension between me and my son. And it made me feel so uncomfortable in my house. So I said, you know what? I will not be uncomfortable in my own house. So I started doing little things to make my ex feel uncomfortable. I started being noisy. I started dropping heavy pots and pans on the floor in the kitchen, unnerving him. Walking around the house, giving him the silent treatment day and night. And then when he talked to me, I'll get an attitude and say, you disturbing my peace when you try to talk to me. I would tell him, leave me alone. He would watch me cook food in the kitchen not because he wanted to learn my secret recipe, because I made it so uncomfortable with him. I think he was thinking something said like, oh, I think she's going to put something in the food. So he was very uncomfortable. So he would watch me because I would serve him food with a smile. 2 days, 3 days, I went and talked to him. And then suddenly I would cook food and serve it to him. That made him uncomfortable. So he would be very uncomfortable sleeping because I would certainly startle him with loud noises. There was no peace for the wicked, honey. So one day I stood up to him and I told him, stop interfering with the way I raised my son. I disciplined my son so he would have respect for me, so that he would know right from wrong. I have to teach him this. And I told him, you will never contact my son again. You will never talk to my son again. You have to leave this house. I never want to hear from you or see you again ever in life. And the type of karma that you're going to have coming at you, you're going to go down to the pits of hell alive and aware. And the thoughts you think to cause tension between me and my son is pure evil. I'm a hardworking mother. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I have never used drugs a day in my life. Why are you creating a wedge between me and my son, making me feel like I'm crazy and there's something wrong with me and I'm not a good mother? You know, you sit on that couch day in, day out and talk on that phone and gossip about me and other people. You are going nowhere and doing nothing with your life. That's why you are diagnosed with cancer, because that is what you have been for 6 years of this marriage. And you have prostate cancer because you are an asshole, creating tension between me and my son. That's the only child that I've ever gave birth to, and you want to try to take him from me. Why? You will not have any good luck in life, and I wish you a speedy death in Texas. Let me tell you something. As a mother, you have to do what you got to do and say what you got to say to protect your child. This is me putting a deadbolt on a relationship, saying that you will never be able to come back again once you leave this house. You will never be able to come back and reconcile with me ever again. I am not talking to you, sweet. This is not the time to be sweet and kind and all that and gentle, because you are being dominant. You are asserting dominance and control over the situation and over your household, and what you will not tolerate anymore. This is no time to be nice. This is all the time to be nasty. And let him know, do not ever call me, or don't even text me, or don't even write an apology letter. I want nothing from you but the gift of your absence. The gift of goodbye is all that I need. You know, you got to know when to kiss and say goodbye to this toxic masculine situation. This man, he probably never even loved me. He only probably married me for a place to stay, because, you know, I'm thinking about it now. Looking back, he probably was running from his life in New York, because I met him at my best friend's wedding, and then he never went back. So now I get it. Now I understand why he married me so fast. And then, like I was thinking about too, he also created tension between his ex-wife, and he had 2 kids with her. He turned the kids against his ex-wife and made her look like a bad person. So this is something that he just constantly does in order to keep the kids on his side. So I was just so caught up in the love phase of the relationship. You know, I don't think about anything until the end, until when I'm alone with God and I'm having flashbacks about my life and why I had to go through certain experiences. I had to learn, because, you know, me and my son, we were best friends since he was 2 years old. And the enemy wanted to stop him. Stop that. He wanted to stop us. The enemy wants to shift us like wheat, because the enemy is bored. Me and my son used to go to church together. Me and my son actually prayed together. Like a mother and son, we had a close bond. My ex, he had no close connection with his children. He has 3 children, 2 boys and a girl. He was not close to any of his grandchildren. Malik and I became his focal point. So, you know, I stayed prayed up, because since that man left my life, me and Malik are okay by God's grace. Our mother-son bond is on the mend with God's help. And one day he will come back to church with me again. This is my hope for the future. Ephesians 6:11, Paul tells us to put on the full armor of God so you can withstand against the wiles of the devil. And you are never left alone to fight. Sometimes the warrior in us will come out to fight against the people trying to divide our family, instead of loving our family and sending wishing blessings and healing. This is the worst type of war, because it was man versus man inside the family, because this man was not a stranger to me, but he was my husband, and this is the man I married, and he became my enemy. Instead of loving us and creating a bond and new memories, he made me defend myself against him. He made himself the enemy. I was forced to defend myself and my child. I was forced to be the protector of my household by standing my ground. I was determined to get this man out of my house and out of my life and away from my son. He has an influence over my son. I was focused on overcoming this challenge. I became strong in the Lord, praying and fasting for 3 days. I went on a weekend dry fast to break this most stubborn yoke, to break this stronghold off me and my son. Ephesians 6:10 says, for us to be sober and vigilant, as the devil is walking around like a lion seeking whom he may devour. Like I said before, I felt like I was being punished for pursuing my purpose, humiliated because I went to church and honored God, criticized for being successful. And now I look back, he did absolutely nothing with his life, and in 15 years, he tried to sabotage my success. For the first time in my life, this is the only time I had to fight. I developed the courage it takes to take action and get this man out of my life and stand my ground. Set clear boundaries. You will never do this again. You will never be able to come back over here again. I have the courage now I had to develop the courage to start over again. Use the sword of the Bible and my discernment to move forward and start a new path and cut through any limiting beliefs. First of all, I said I had no help, but my help came from the Lord. I look to the hills which come with my help. My help comes from God. That's why he had to leave suddenly. That's why he was so uncomfortable. Because God suddenly stepped in and he was actually stricken with illness without warning. Like, we didn't even know he got cancer without warning. It was just he got sick one day. He started throwing up, and then he started bleeding. It was like, what's going on with you? Just suddenly, because that's the power of prayer. Prayer changes things. When others look at you and see you and your son and think they're going to take advantage of this single mother and her child, God is watching those who are watching you. Trust me. Just so you know, I have a karmic anointing on my life. And so when someone like this meet me and you hurt me, I am convinced that God is crazy about me. The spirit will suddenly come upon you and change the course of your life forever, and not in a good way. This is because God knows I operate from pure spirit, pure heart. I treat everybody right. I have good intentions for myself and my son. I don't bother nobody. I don't go to clubs. I don't gossip. I don't keep mess going. I get up every day and I go to work and I run my business. I go to church and I don't drink. I don't smoke and I don't do drugs. I am educated. I am a kind-hearted, sweet, gentle person. I am empathetic. This is what makes God crazy for me. Because God will come down off that cloud in the sky and fight somebody. Send a sharp bolt of lightning. I remember one day when me and my ex was arguing, there was pots and pans rattling in my house without warning. So I live my life peaceful. And I clean and decorate my house. And I work hard to make my house look presentable. My house is quiet. The atmosphere is relaxed. Yes, I play my gospel music, but for the most part, my house is not a toxic environment. My house feels like home. So when I got rid of my ex-husband, peace returned to my home. And looking back on this message, I was fighting for my peace. God said, peace, be still in the midst of the storm. So I can think clearly and move and navigate in my gift and not lose focus on my job, running my business. He was creating frustration in my mind. He was clouding my thoughts and my judgment. My body began to be exhausted trying to get up and go to work every day because there was so much contention in my house. And going to work, I was tired mentally and I wasn't really sleeping well at night. But God said in Ecclesiastes 3, there's a time for peace. So if you are going through this, sometimes there's a time for war. As a warrior princess, and then God say there's a time for peace. If you're going through this situation, warrior ones, meet me in the comment section. Let's have this conversation. Thank you so much for listening to this message. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe. Love, hugs, and kisses, and I pray all is well with you. God bless you, and I pray this message finds you in peace.